Good evening, everybody. My name is Todd Scholl. I'm the lead learner at the SCEA Center for Educator Wellness and Learning. We call ourselves Cool. And welcome to tonight's live stream. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful start to a new school year. I know here along the coast, we're taking a close look at the tropical storm that is brewing, and we certainly send all our best wishes to everybody who's going to be affected by the storm, particularly those in Florida. Tonight is going to be a really special event. I think you're going to really enjoy our guest tonight. Jed Dearybury is somebody I've known for a long time, have deep respect for. He's an educator from South Carolina, from the Spartanburg area, and he has become one of the nation's leaders in professional learning. And he's written now 3 books, and he's just a ball of energy and someone who's really, really inspiring. I think you're going to really enjoy our conversation with him. Before we do that, I just want to plug a few things coming up. We have a lot going on. On August 30th, we have a live stream on student debt relief. That's going to be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And then on Thursday night, we are going to have a session on member advocacy. And then on Friday, we're going to have a conversation with some educators from the Florence Education Association. So we hope you'll enjoy all the live streams that we have coming up. And you can always find out what we have going on at the SCEA at the scea.org/events. And the last thing I want to say before we bring Jed on is, if you are watching tonight and you are interested in joining our movement at the SCEA, look at the bottom of the screen. You can see the link is jointhescea.org, or you can text the word join to 48744. And if you're not ready to join yet, but you just like to connect with us, you can do that. Just go to the scea.org/YRO. So without further ado, let's bring Jed on. Jed, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How's it going, Todd?
Oh, it's going well. I've been really busy. I just got back from moving my son in El Paso. He is going to be pursuing a PhD degree at UTEP. So, and I drove his car all the way across the country and stopped in New Orleans and San Antonio, and it was hot. I mean, I thought South Carolina was hot.
It is a long drive. Years ago, Matt and I did a cross-country trip. It was the summer of 2008, and we drove across Texas into El Paso. We had some friends that lived in El Paso, and we went to the campus of UTEP because we wanted to see the stadium. And believe it or not, the stadium was open that day. We parked like right next to the stadium, walked right in, and got a good look at the stadium. They were having some kind of practice on the field.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty cool to be there. What a lovely campus.
It's a beautiful campus, and it was interesting that the architecture is all inspired by Himalayan sort of architecture. So they have a connection. There's like sister country or schools in Bhutan, and all of the buildings are built in sort of a Himalayan Tibetan kind of style.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. I think I have some good friends that live in El Paso, so if he ever needs somebody to connect with to get a home cooked meal or something like that, let me know. I can connect them. I'm sure that they would love to have him over sometime. But
for sure.
I'm so excited for him to be on this journey out there, man. That's fun. Every day I wonder how life might have been different if I had moved away and gone to college somewhere far away.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of difficult to leave your son that far away, but I feel like he's in a good place, and he's got a good opportunity. So I'm excited for him. But thinking about our conversation tonight, I was thinking about I'm reading a book called Rest is Resistance. And I love the book and how it frames the importance of rest. And what I love about what you're doing is also talking about the importance of play. And I think sometimes in our culture, we glorify this sort of grind culture. And Pete Stone released a video, I don't know if you saw it, and talking about like how, we're always talking about you got to be teaching bell to bell, and you got to be learning bell to bell, and you got to be blah, blah, blah. And it's just like this drive. And it feels like we're so concerned about like test scores and data, that we forget the human element. And we actually, I really think if we just gave people more rest and more play, you'd probably see an increase in scores. But
Absolutely.
even if you didn't, it's still important for us to
Mhm.
remember that the people in the building are human beings and they deserve time for play and time for rest. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about your, what brought you to focusing on play so much.
Well, I think it was as much a personal journey as it was anything. I've been teaching since 2001. And hey, Marcella, so good to see you pop up there. Love that. I love that Marcella's working with y'all now. It's
I know. Great.
absolutely thrilling to me.
Yeah.
But I think it was a personal journey. I started teaching in 2001, and I saw myself getting really caught up in the grind of teaching, but not only the grind of teaching, but the grind of just what is the stereotype of being an adult. You have to look a certain way, act a certain way, behave a certain way. There was just all this pressure on me to be this adult person that I just didn't feel like it was me. Um, and if I gave you a little spin, I don't know if you can see around here in my office, but this office that I have is a result of me putting off the stereotype of adulthood. I mean, look at this right here, for crying out loud. I got these stuffed crayons. I got my Eric, my Cabbage Patch doll is up there that I've had since I was 8 years old. And then if we spin on around over here, you see my Golden Girl wall, and you see my fun chair there. I mean,
Yeah.
this is my home office. This is where I do all of my calls from. And sometimes people see this and they're like, wow, what is Jed? Look at this right here up at the top there. That is 3 pieces of artwork that I made when I was in college in my art for the child class. I had to show change over time. So the first one is he wakes up in the morning, then he's gone to school, his bed is made, and then he comes home at night, he gets back in the bed. So it's change over time. Look at that fun curtain that I got there. It's just a tablecloth that I made into. And, so my office reflects the real me. Reflects the real me. This is my mind. This is my space. And the more that I realized, if I want to embrace that personally, I've got to help others to embrace that, and I got to show them why. And when Julie Jones and I started doing the research, we found out that the neuroscience of the way that our brains are wired, the way that our body's DNA is composed, it thrives and longs for this type of living.
Right.
When people talk about, there's so many problems with the saying the good old days, but in the past of humanity, there wasn't as much pressure put on children. There wasn't as much pressure put on adults. I think social media has done that. I think testing culture has done that. I think society as a whole, as we get deeper and deeper into the capitalistic mindset, has done that to us. And moving away from that is imperative, because that's not who we were designed to be. Burnout of adults in the workplace is higher than it's ever been. I'm gonna say that it was higher as it's ever been pre-COVID. In the world since COVID started to shift our mind to help us understand, the rat race, it ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Right.
And embracing play in our work, in our home life, in our classrooms, in our friendships is just a way that is going to help us decrease that burnout. It's going to help us to find our true selves and our true passions. Another thing I do is I doodle. If you follow me a lot, I doodle. This was something I did last Friday. See, today I doodled that little year 23. I colored it. Today officially started my 23rd year of education, because my college classes that I teach kicked off today. I try to surround myself with things and experiences that bring me joy. It doesn't always work that way, because life happens and there are things out there that will come against us. But they're so much easier to handle to do that. Today, when I taught my opening class for my art for the elementary curriculum course, it's my in-person course. The other 3 that I teach are online. And But when I taught this one in person today, when I explained to the students how our semester was going to work, that it is a game-based curriculum where we earn points and they choose their path. I don't dictate to them what assignments to do. When I told them every class we would make art and create, and you could feel the stress just leave their body. You know, they think and one of them even said, well, I'm glad we're going to have at least one class that's like this. And I grieved because I thought, man, if all their other classes are, what is perceived as rigor, we could have a whole discussion about rigor and what it really is. Play in learning is rigorous. Play in your life is rigorous. If you look at what's happening in your brain and in your body when you are playing, it is rigorous. And the neuroscience supports it. The thing I find odd in this whole, and I know I'm just talking a lot about things. As we got into the research, Todd, there was irrefutable evidence to support play and learning, but we have administrators out there who still don't understand. And to me, it's you're really showing your own ignorance as an educator if you don't understand how the brain works. To say that, to call playful teaching fluff, or it's just an oxymoron to say that, because play is rigor.
Well, it's interesting. One thing that really stood out is when you talked about our true selves, and you showed us your room. And I recently was listening to Gabor Mate, who speaks a lot about trauma, what trauma is, and trauma is a wounding, and it's a fundamental disconnection from our authentic selves. And the way that we heal trauma is by reconnecting with our authentic selves. And I think the systems that we've created often disconnect us from that authenticity, because we feel like we have to, grow up, and we have to fit into certain molds in order to be considered successful by society. And play often is associated, quit playing around. We're constantly telling people, quit playing. We got serious work to do. And we forget that play is such a fundamental part of, I think, healing from these systems that we're in.
Todd, you said that beautifully. It is healing from the systems, because what happens when we play is we let our guard down. We let our inner critic shuts off. It shuts off. Now, of course, there's some of us who struggle with perfectionism, and if we're making art as a form of play, we might be critical of our artwork. But when you really get lost in the flow of play, that inner critic shuts off. There's the scientist who coined the term flow. His name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Don't even ask me to spell it, but it's in our book, and we talked about him. He wrote a book called Flow. He coined that term, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody has said, man, time flies when you're having fun. I'm looking at the clock already, and we're already halfway through our 30 minutes together. I feel like we just started, right?
Right.
We're getting lost in the flow.
Yeah.
And what's happening is our inner critic is turning off. We're not worrying about the time, the schedule, the other things that we have to do. And it's a beautiful time. And if we as educators can understand what's happening in the brain when that occurs, then we should want to create those moments in our classroom. I've never got lost in the flow doing an algebra worksheet. Now, I would get lost in the flow if I were building something and having to use algebraic formulas to make it happen. I think about my own experience in high school specifically. I should have been a high school teacher, because I would have been a jam up high school teacher. Now, my room would have looked like this, and everybody thought I was crazy, right? They would have been like, Jed, you don't belong in high school. You should be in kindergarten. But the principles of teaching kindergarten are so applicable to 9th, 10th grade. And when I was in high school, I had my geometry teacher. Her name was Angie Jackson. I don't know if you can see her. There's a glare, but she's right here on my wall. In this picture, this is my top 5 favorite teachers. I did a speech about them. This is me. Angie Jackson. And she taught geometry, and I remember more about geometry as an adult than I do algebra 1, algebra 2, or pre-cal, because Angie Jackson made geometry fun. She had a a sticker chart on her wall where every time you solved a proof, you got a sticker. And when you got 3 stickers, you got a blow pop. She had flexible seating in 1995, 96, or 94, 95, before anybody was talking about flexible seating. She had music playing when you came into her room. She created an atmosphere of fun and of play, and it made you want to be there. I never wanted to be in algebra class because desks were facing the front. The teacher sat at the overhead. He did not move. It was a lot of just, there was nothing fun about it. And I know that there's critics out there that will say, well, life isn't always fun. You're exactly right. And there's going to be plenty of not fun moments that come our way. So we should do everything we can to make the moments fun that can be.
That's right. That's right.
Look,
and you can embed fun and play into so many activities, so many things.
Look, just this week I saw the most amazing video, and you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do it one day. It was at Grandma's funeral, and Grandma had recorded a message before she died that it was her pretending to be in her coffin, and she was knocking on the coffin like, "Hey, let me out, let me out!" And they played this at her funeral, and amidst the tears, people started to laugh, and they even in those moments. That we are grieving, we can find playful moments that will help us work through the grief.
Right.
I can promise anybody who's around it, if you're around at my funeral one day, I'm making a video or a recording.
I wouldn't want to miss that. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen for a long, long time.
Me too.
But
me too. If it happens to me tomorrow, I don't have the video ready. But if I live to be like 90 and I know I'm on my way out, you can rest assured that I will have some kind of recording.
Yeah, I love what you talked about, the flow, and there's also this thing in neuroscience called the default mode network, and this is activated when we're just sitting around ruminating.
Yeah,
and what we notice is through mindfulness practice or through playing music or dancing or being engaged in the type of activities that you're talking about, that we can dampen that default mode network, which is highly correlated with, depression and anxiety and these sort of unpleasant mental states. And when we get in that flow state, you actually can see the energy shift in the brain away from those temporal parts that are keeping track of time. And that's why it seems like this thing's going by so quickly. Or when you're having fun, 3 or 4 hours can go by like, holy cow, it's already time to go. And that's because we're not keeping track of time the way we do in that default mode state. Yeah.
And we actually talk about the default mode network in both books, which is, I love that you just pulled it right out there. That's your mindfulness practice there. I know that you understand that. One of the things I found in my research, Todd, this is something that I find to be very, very interesting. When I think about teaching, the most important part of our body that's relevant to our work is the brain, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow intelligence, and this happens in the brain. In my work across the country, I always ask, have you ever had a neuroscience course as an educator? And I mean specific neuroscience. I'm not talking about psychology, sociology. I'm not talking about human growth and development. I'm talking about neuroscience. And it is rare that I even get one hand in a crowd of 100 people that have had neuroscience. And so part of our mission with the Playful Life and the Playful Classroom is to help people lean into that understanding of neuroscience. I think we hear the word neuroscientist, and we have stereotyped that to be a job that's only for the top 1% of the intelligence of humanity. But we all have a brain, and we can all read and understand the research. And I used to be intimidated by it myself, but as I got to dig into the research with Julie, I was like, why am I afraid of this? It's awesome to know about default network and all the neurotransmitters that are released and how to get them released.
Right.
Like, as an educator, if you know your kids are in a slump and they need a serotonin boost, then you need to know ways to boost that serotonin,
That's right.
And it's not always just let's turn on Go Noodle and let them move for 5 minutes and then sit them back in a chair. Sometimes you need to be up and moving and playing and experiencing the learning instead of sitting and getting the learning. Right. And as educators, we need to know how to do that. You mentioned something else. you started talking about trauma
Mhm.
and the effects of trauma. A lot of people, they know my books, The Playful Classroom and The Playful Life. Those are the two most popular books because those are the fun ones, right? But my middle book, the one that I wrote in between these, I wrote it with a psychiatrist from Florida, Dr. Janet Taylor. I'll show you a picture of her. Here she is, Dr. Janet. Whoop, there she is. She's a psychiatrist in Florida. You know how the morning talk shows or morning news shows, when they have a story that they need to refer to an expert psychiatrist for more insight?
Yeah.
She does that for Good Morning America. And the publishing company reached out to me and said, hey, we want you to write this book with Dr. Taylor. And this is all about fear and trauma and how it is affecting students, but also how it has affected teachers.
Yes.
Both as in our role in teaching, but also how we bring our own trauma into the classroom.
Yes.
And we talk a lot about that. And honestly, I wish that I would have written this one first, and that the way to help that is this and this. That's the order that I would have written them in. But I didn't know how it was going to all play out in the world. But play and the healing of trauma go hand in hand. That's why I love the idea of play therapy. I'm a member of the American, here, I'll show you this, Association for Play Therapy. I just got that in the mail yesterday. That I read this. I'm not a play therapist. I'm not licensed or anything like that, but you can be a member of their group. This is just play therapy in multidisciplinary settings. I mean, the ideas that I get from here are just so good that they can be crossed over into curriculum and teaching and things like that. So the two go hand in hand. And so I was glad to hear you mention that, so we could bring that into this.
Well, to me, it's like a teacher not knowing about neuroscience is almost like a mechanic not knowing about how an engine works. It's it's essential. And like, the more we know about trauma, the more we know about how to heal trauma, the more we know about how the brain works and what works for different types of students, and about neurodivergence. And I mean, all of that stuff helps us meet student needs better. And really, my whole goal has been to rehumanize the system of education, because it became so focused on standardized testing that it started to, whether it was intentional or not, started to strip away a lot of the essential things we need as humans to flourish and to be well physically, mentally, emotionally, socially. And what we've got to do is go back and look at the system, because the people in the system aren't the problem. It's what the system's doing to the people. And that's why I really want to uplift your work, because getting play back into schools and making it a fun place to go to. Like, there's no reason why students and educators shouldn't go into a building and look forward to it. There's no reason why that shouldn't exist. And instead, we have so many students and teachers that are dreading going in the building every day, and it doesn't need to be that way.
To the teachers' credit, I get why a lot of teachers are struggling to go back right now, because it's tough. It is harder than it's ever been, and so I get that. But imagine if you can turn your classroom and into a playful space. And I'm telling you, every standard that you have to teach can be taught in a playful way. Now, disclaimer, there are some standards I would not teach playfully. If you were talking about the atrocities of Native American genocide and slavery and the Holocaust, I mean, don't turn it into some game and do something ridiculous that's going to get you on the interwebs, of course, or fired, even worse, or damage students. Let's just say that. But almost every standard that you have can be made playful. But the thing I want to say about the standards, I mean, we were always taught to, when I went to college, I was taught to deliver information. That was my goal, is to deliver information. But I don't think that is my goal. My goal is to make sure and help the information stick in a meaningful, relevant, and fun way. Because I know, as well as I do, Todd, I've got a lot of information that has been thrown at me since I was in kindergarten. If I sat down and counted out what all I remember of that, it's probably this much.
Right.
My alphabet, basic math, how to tie my shoes. When I was in kindergarten, I got an N on my report card because I couldn't skip. So me and my whole family practice skipping, and I finally got an S. I still remember how to skip. I mean, the basic things I remember were those foundational things. I don't know much about algebra. I don't know much about chemistry. Guess what though? I got a 100 A plus in high school chemistry. I did. I don't know anything about it. What I did, what I did was figured out how to play that game the teacher was
That's
doing.
right.
She taught Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from the overhead. Okay. Thursday, she gave a pretest. Friday, it was the same thing as the pretest, just in a different order. So if you paid attention to the answers on Thursday when you went over the pretest, you just got 100 on the test. Everybody thought I was going to be a chemist. I don't know. I don't know a thing about chemistry.
That's right. Yeah. And so much of what we learn in school is coming from adults. And if we see adults who are healthy and well and laughing and having fun and enjoying learning, then that teaches us to have that kind of spirit about it instead of it being this like, I've got to really sit down and buckle down and be serious about it. Like, and then connect it to like grades instead of just connecting it to the natural curiosity that we all have. And allowing people to go in sort of natural directions with their curiosity. We're running out of time, and one of the most important things that I wanted to do tonight, Jed, is to give you an opportunity to talk about about your Dearybury of a day coming up, which is September 30th. It's coming soon, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the SCEA headquarters. Folks can go ahead and register for that they can just scan this if they want to with their phones right now, or they can go to I'll try to get the link and put that on there. But tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from that day.
So first of all, the title, A Dearybury Every Day, that's a very meaningful title to me. It sounds like it might just be kind of a hokey fun title that somebody threw out there. But when I was teaching first and second grade, the title of my weekly newsletter was called A Dearybury of a Day, because it was the newsletter that I sent out. I printed it. I was old school. Like I said, I started in 2001. Although eventually I did start putting it online as well, but it was a newsletter that captured all the days of the week that how they were going to be in a classroom with me. Each day was a Dearybury of a day, right? And the one day event that you guys are hosting, which is going to be so amazing, I can't wait. It's going to be a day full of what I said, meaningful, relevant, and fun learning experiences connected to the power of play, that you will be able to take back to your classroom the very next Monday that you walk into the building. My goal in every workshop and every keynote, every full day of professional development that I've ever done is to equip, encourage, and empower. I want to equip every learner with new tools, new ideas, new websites, new network of people, because I'm hoping you're going to meet some new friends there. I'm going to encourage you. We're going to laugh. We're going to play. We're going to be silly. We might cry a little bit, but there can be a lot of catharticism through the tears, right? And then I'm going to empower you to go back to your school, share the message of play, share the value and power of play with your students. But not only that, we're going to dig into what play looks like into your daily living, and how if you become make it a practice of daily playful living, that's going to spill over into your classroom. You saw my doodles, coming in here right earlier on, and that has definitely made its way into my teaching space, because that's a playful habit that I have. Another playful habit I have is reading. Surrounded by me right now, you can't see them all because they're all kind of waist or below. I have about 1,000 children's books in this room, and I read picture books and look for fun ideas to connect with my students. But also, I just like reading. I like reading, and so that day, I'm going to give you some tips, some strategies for playful living, playful teaching. It's going to be a fun day. You will get lost in the flow. I promise you. You say 10 to 4 on a Saturday. That's a long day. It's going to go by in a blink of an eye, and you're going to walk away just energized and ready to bring play into your classroom and your life.
I have no doubt about it. And I just want to, so the link that you can go to if you want to register for this, which you definitely do, It's September 30th. It's 10 a.m. to 4 o'clock at the SCEA headquarters in Columbia. Just go to the scea.org/Dearybury Day, and everybody who comes is going to get an autographed copy of your book, The Playful Classroom.
Playful
So
Classroom there. I will have the Playful Classroom is there, the one that they'll get. But then I'm going to have copies of these two if you want to get them. Of course, I mean, you can get these on Amazon, but you think of me like a small business. If you buy it from me, you're supporting me directly instead of, buying Bezos a yacht. But, maybe one day I can have a canoe. Buy enough books. But yeah, they'll definitely be there. Tracy, I see that. If you're not able to be there, maybe we can work out something. Oh, that's Tracy. I know that Tracy. I just looked down and saw. I know that Tracy. Tracy is okay. So this is a shameless plug, but on Instagram, I have a monthly subscription on Instagram. It's only $4.99 a month. And it's like I become like a little personal coach for you, and I send out resources and things like that. And it's just really cool. Go follow me on Instagram. It's at Mr. Dearybury, which is my username on the screen. Yeah, I could connect with you there. Also, check out my website. There might be some workshops that you want me to come do in your school or district.
It's and that's Mr. Dearybury.com.
Yeah.
.com. I'm gonna put that up on the screen for everybody. Whoops, I actually put that in the comments, so everybody who's listening can check it out in the comments. I want to thank Julie, Tracy, Todd, Emily, Justin, Colleen, Felicia. I don't know if you saw Patrick, Martin, Cindy, Josie Brown's up your way.
Yes,
in Spartanburg. Marcella, Rona. I don't know if you saw that. Rona said hello. Hi, Rona.
Oh yeah, Rona. Hey. Yeah. You know what? I did not even see any of these comments to the right. I was seeing them pop up on the screen, but I've just now clicked on the to the right.
Yeah, we had a bunch. People, Valerie, Corey, Ernest. We had a bunch of people show up tonight. So Angelica saying hello. Hi, Angelica. And your friend and co-author Julie and Felicia.
Yeah, she popped in there. Yeah, it's her birthday, Todd. If you sing happy birthday to her, you'll help her meet her goal of having 46 people sing to her today.
Okay, here we go. You want to do it together?
Here we go. Julie, are you listening? Here we go.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, Julie. I got you one more, friend. I got you one more.
Awesome.
Every year on her birthday, she tries to get the year she is old, get those people to sing to her. That many. Yeah. So she turned 46 today. Awesome. And that you might have been number 46 because I've been sending some people her way. My mom called her just a little bit ago. So yeah.
Well, Jed, I appreciate your time tonight. As always, you're amazing. And I appreciate you and your humanity and your authenticity. I think that's the thing. I've told you that before. When people are authentic with you, it gives you permission to tap into your authentic self. And I think that's the thing. That's one of the greatest gifts that you give to the world is your courage to be who you are. And, look, I saw something the other day. It said you could be the ripest, juiciest peach, and not everybody likes peaches, but that's okay. So like
I don't know if you can see this, Todd, but I'm tearing up a little bit because your words mean so much to me. I value your friendship so much in my life. I have admired your work across the state for so long. I absolutely love what you're doing at the SCEA, the way that you are helping the movement move forward. I really appreciate you more than you know. You and I have had several beverages down there along the strand, and I just appreciate those words from you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's I think that sometimes we underestimate the impact that we have on others, and just by showing up in the world authentically ourselves. And I hope that you'll keep doing that and do it for a long, long time.
I'll do my very best.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody tomorrow night we're going to have a conversation with Guy Kendall Freeze about student debt relief. That's from 7 to 7:30, and then our member advocacy specialist Sherilyn Allen will be with us Thursday night from 7 to 7:30. We're going to take a tour of the SCEA website on September 6th, and we're going to have a conversation called In Defense of Books, a conversation with some South Carolina school librarians. Everybody probably knows Cassie Owens-Moore and SCASL president Michelle Spires. And again, just a reminder, Dearybury of a Day coming up on Saturday, September 30th, 2023, not too long from like about 4.5 weeks from now, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I'm going to put the link up there one more time for people. This is really going to be a great day for you to come and learn with Jed and spend a fun day with him. Jed, thanks again so much for your time, and thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. Mindy says she wants beverages. Have you met Mindy?
I haven't met Mindy, but
you got to meet
anybody that wants beverage. I will say, we should plan something for the Friday night before.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be staying nearby that night. I booked my hotel just this week.
All right. We'll reach out. You know where to reach me. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, good. Jed. All right. Thanks for everybody to tuning in tonight. And one final thing before we sign off, just want to remind you that the SCEA, I'm so proud to be a member of the union, member of the NEA, which is the largest labor union in the United States, and the SCEA, our state affiliate of the NEA. And then I'm a member of my local, which is the Horry County Education Association. And I'm so proud to be a part of an association that understands the importance of advocating for public schools at all three levels, local, state, and national. Mm-hmm. And we would love to have you as a part of our movement. If you'd like to do that, just look at the link below, jointhescea.org, or you can text the word join to 48744. And I also want to encourage, if you are watching and you are already a member, go out and find somebody in your building this week and talk to them about our movement, because it's the more voices we have working together, the more collective power we can build and the more change we can bring to deliver the kind of schools that our educators and their students absolutely deserve. Again, thanks so much, Jed, for your time tonight. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We've got, all right, just a couple more comments I want to bring in. All right. So yeah, we need to have 4 Dove Scouts.
Look, Mindy, that's accurate. That is so accurate, Mindy. Yes.
Yeah.
I like
it. All right. All right, y'all. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll